Okay, do take note of this question. This is a very important question so to understand the experimental setup. So it says that Andrew conducted an experiment by using the setup as shown. So what do we have here with the Bunsen burner, the flame, a beaker X containing 30 grams of salt dissolved in 200 milliliters of water. We have a metal rod. We have this part where they indicate the initial position of the metal rod. So I want you to annotate this part. That means before the beginning of the experiment, the rod is suspended in a manner where it is parallel to the floor. During the experiment, can you see the flame here? The flame actually heats up the water, so the water will gain heat and evaporate and be converted into warm water vapor. So you can annotate this part, warm water vapor rising. So this annotation skills actually prepare students mentally to formulate the answers. And there's this angle W here. So he said he observed that the angle W increased as time increases. So that means, for example, after the first minute is 1 degree, second minute 2 degrees, fifth minute 7 degrees, something like that. So this angle increases. So they say give a reason for this observation. Okay, because you notice this is a 2-mark question, right? So this answer, right, you have to explain how the water from here gain heat, become warmer water vapor, and loses heat to the metal rod and condense tiny water droplets. And these water droplets actually added weights to the metal rod, so it is being forced downwards. So there's a downward force pulling it. Okay, so you understand this, and the full solution is this one which I prepared for you. So firstly, you must present your answer, the formation of water droplets through the process of condensation. Okay, through the process of condensation. So you should say in this manner, the water gain heat from the flame, heating to form warmer water vapor. Full stop, comma. Which then loses heat. Okay, I prefer to put loses heat to the metal rod. Loses heat to the metal rod and condense on the cooler side of the metal rod to become tiny water droplets. Okay. The metal rod tilted downwards on that side as it becomes heavier. So this is a full solution. You take note of this. Okay, this part. Okay, so this is a full solution. So how do the examiner mark? Okay, number one, they check whether the student put this word, the water gain heat from what? From the flame. Okay, and then form what? Warmer water vapor. So these are the things the examiner look for. Okay, after warmer water vapor, you must indicate loses heat to which one? To the metal rod. Okay, loses heat to the metal rod and condense to form what? Okay, condense to form tiny water droplets. Okay, then you must indicate this tiny water droplet added weight to it, so that side becomes heavier and tilted. So this is the necessary information that need to be presented to the examiner. Okay, so you must indicate heat gain. Next, condensation happens because the warmer water vapor loses heat to the cooler surface of the metal rod. And then how does it tilt? Because the additional water droplets added weight to it. Okay, so next question, part B. Okay, here you take note. Here they use this word, boil. Okay. Andrew boiled the entire solution in X, okay, until there's no liquid left, but only 150 ml water is collected in beaker Y. So this is also, you need to understand, initially it is 200, right? So technically, if I evaporate all the 200 ml water, I should collect 200 ml water. But he only collected 150. So you need to explain why. So actually, this is quite simple, right? If you understand in experimental setup, if you look carefully here, there are air spaces in between here. Okay, this is drawn in 2D because they didn't show, you do not understand how deep and how wide the beaker is. Okay, so there's space for the warmer water vapor to escape. So as long as you mention that some of the water vapor escape into the surrounding and it's not being so-called captured by the metal rod, so you mentioned this part, some of the warmer water vapor, okay, let me do it here below this part. Some of the water vapor did not come into contact with the metal rod, escaping into the surrounding. Okay, some water vapor did not come into contact with the cooler metal rod and escape into the surrounding. Okay, so this part, take note. Okay, next question. You do take note. They say suggest one way. So again, this one do not require explanation. They say repeated the experiment without changing the setup, and the amount of salt water. Suggest one way he can decrease angle W. So to decrease this angle W, that means I do not want as much water droplet to condense. Okay, he repeated the experiment. Okay, with the same amount of salt. So you can say he can lower the flame intensity. That means the Bunsen burner do not turn off to full flame. Okay, so this is to suggest so you just put lower the, let me copy this, lower the flame intensity. Okay, where is the questions? Oh wait, okay, lower the flame intensity here. Okay, lower the flame intensity. That's all. Okay, so this is the question for this. Do take note this question, quite important. Understand the experimental setup